Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Look at us. It's just you and me.
And all of the people.
And all of the people. And the earworm that's in my brain today of Rachel Berry saying Pleek. So.
Fuck. Yeah. That is the ghost producer of this podcast. It's like what is it? Like your night demon. I forget what it's called.
My paralysis demon.
Sleep paralysis demon. There it is. Yes. That is that for this show. Is Rachel Berry. In most forms, but especially that one.
On odd days, it's Rachel Berry saying Pleek. On even days, it's Matthew Morrison breakdancing.
Fuck. God, yeah, unfortunately.
Hey, it's been a while. Not for folks who are listening. They wouldn't have noticed. But we took a summer vacation.
Yeah, we actually rested, kind of.
For the first time in 7 years, we took a break.
We actually took a break, and none of you noticed. Just kidding.
And none of you fucking if you even care, we took.
You even care. So we're back in the saddle. It's been a minute, a proper minute, since we've gabbed.
Since we've sat down and gossiped.
Since we shot this shit.
Since the last time that we spoke, we've had huge gains in union rights.
Yes.
It's been 50 calendar days since I last spoke to you, as everybody knows. When I last spoke to you, we had sunsets that were longer, and now it's dark times. I've had to bring out my sad lamp. How are you?
I'm here. I'm living. I'm laughing.
You are employed.
I am employed, famously. So many things have happened. But I don't want to talk about any of that.
Good.
Okay?
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Right?
Let's talk about the moon.
I want to talk about the Real Housewives of New York City. Okay?
Let's go!
Okay. All right.
Let's go.
And if you are a listener of this show, you are probably aware that I'm not, deep in the trenches of the Bravo verse.
Yes.
There are certain ones that I have dabbled in, but have never, fully gotten all the way.
And it's not your fault, because there's so many.
There's, 800 seasons of every city, and that's fine, you know?
All the gamer bros are oh, you can't even get into the Marvel universe. Name 3 films. No, talk about the Real Housewives cinematic universe.
Right. It's I watch 90 Day Fiancé, okay? You know how many
exactly.
cartwheels I have to do?
God.
And sometimes they air them all at the same time, so I'm juggling who's in the other way, who's before the 90 days. I'm confused, okay? There's a lot going on.
Exactly.
It's fucked up.
I saw a tweet today that said, you should get a week off if you have a lot of television to catch up on. And I agree.
For real. Yeah, no, that's true. That should be a paid thing. And we used to be a proper country. You know what I mean? If we really wanted to be the best country in the world.
Oh, God.
This most recent season of The Real Housewives of New York City is everything.
Tell me everything.
On multiple levels, because A, it's a great entry point, because it's a completely new cast. No one from before. You don't have to, catch up on anything. It is fully its own separate thing.
That's amazing. I love that.
Which is great. And crucially, what made me want to watch this was when, months and months ago, it was announced, I think at Bravo's convention, which is called BravoCon, which is hilarious.
God damn it.
That Jenna Lyons, the love of my life, formerly creative director of J. Crew.
Whoa.
Also, very brief guest star in HBO's Girls, among other things.
Oh my
God, that was very important to me. And also, crucially, lesbian.
Ooh.
Is one of the housewives.
Okay, let's go.
And she is everything. Like, she's incredibly awkward. And I feel like I mentioned at one point she had like an HBO show or HBO Max show that was like someone like competing to be like her assistant or something. Like that was like it was like a reality show, and it was very weird and toxic because she's a kind of a nightmare of a person, and is very work driven. But her mix in here is so delicious because everyone is very threatened by her, and she's like a bit older than most of the folks in there, but she's also very awkward and doesn't understand social cues at all.
Same.
But all these girls that are like influencers or like, you know, trust fund girls or like whatever, like have their little things going on or work in fashion, are just like trying to make it seem like Jenna needs them, and it's like, no, you need Jenna. Okay,
right?
Jenna's here. Jenna's
she was there when the word was written.
Right? Yes, exactly. She's there. Get out of here. And like Jenna's also great because she's like, I'm not going to tell you anything about my life. Like she mentions at one point that she like went through a breakup like recently, and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Oh, she definitely has Scorpio placements. I love her.
She's wonderful. She's incredibly reserved, which is hilarious for the housewives. And nobody really gets her vibe, and I love it, and it makes everyone really scared of her, which is very fun to watch. How are you doing, my friend?
I am just vibing. I'm pretending that I love every part of fall, which I do, except for the like fucking 6:30 sunsets.
Sure.
So it's great. My happy thing today is also based in New York, coincidentally. So I love our shared brain cell. It is something that made me cry, but in a very like positive, lovely way. And it was a NPR Tiny Desk concert series from Wicked the Musical.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And listen, I know that the movies may be coming out, right? Maybe someday in like 3,000 years or whatever. I, with peace and love, don't care. Because I love Wicked, and what I've wanted for forever is a really good quality version of the musical, like Hamilton. Like, give me a stage show of it in like 4K. And what I saw from this Tiny Desk concert of Alyssa Fox and Mackenzie Kurtz, who from this clip that I saw on TikTok were singing For Good, reminded me of why, one, I love musical theater, but also of why I just fucking give me all of the shows in, like, give me all of the stage recordings, because that's what I want.
Yeah.
The thing that I love about this is not only are they incredibly talented, because obviously they're on Broadway, but these two in particular, obviously all the people that go on Broadway are talented, but like these two in particular got the closest to what I know from the original cast recording of Wicked. Of like,
damn. When
I think about like Glinda and Elphaba singing this song, these two not only like visually look like them, because they're both wearing like they're Disney bounding in this, right?
Right, yeah, for sure. There's definitely a Disney bound going on here.
Just like a light pink silk chiffon and then like a satiny green dress. I was like, oh, love this for you. But even like the intonation of how they're singing, I was like, what the fuck? How do you sound like Kristen Chenoweth, but you're not Kristen Chenoweth? Like, you've got your own spin on it. I didn't know that was possible. Because Kristen Chenoweth sounds like that's her thing.
Yeah. Right. That's like famously it's only her.
So I'm just sitting here watching this, and it's giving me the chills that the song did back in, what was it, like 2004? Thinking, oh my God, it might be possible for that to have happened. And I just want it more than like, if the last thing that I get before I die is like a really good stage recording of this musical, then I can die happy.
Ooh, that's all we need. We're not asking for much. You know, we could make a lot more demands.
I could make a lot more. I could ask for a Hadestown.
Right. Yeah. Like, it's been 1 billion years. Can we just, please?
Especially because I know, and even they know, right? Like, the execs know that it will only drive more people to Broadway. Because they'll be like, oh shit, I love this. Before I drop $400 on the tickets alone, not even the airfare, right? And like hotel and stuff. Let me test this out and see if I like it. And then of course they'll like it because it's Broadway. It's musical theater.
Right.
And the kids will be like, oh shit, I love this. And then they'll want to go. I just need it, okay? Don't make me have to go to Broadway.
Right. Don't make me beg, too. Like, come on.
And don't make me have to fight with all of the high schoolers who go in the summer. Don't make me do that, you know? If I could do the purge, 2 things I'd do. That was 24 hours. I'd rob a bank so I can pay off my student loans. Actually, you know what? Better? I would just hack into Nelnet. Just wipe it.
Perfect.
Done.
Yeah.
That's
this never existed.
Yeah. That's a lot less effort. I could do that. I know how to code. And then I would go in and steal all of those recordings. Yeah. That's what I would do.
It's a noble thing. Yeah, we just need one purge day. We all do cool
just give
crimes,
me one.
not murder. And that's what we do.
Murder's a lot. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot on your conscience. Right. I don't need that.
Right.
I just want...
It's a lot going on there, you know?
I just have 2 demands. Less debt. More theater.
Yeah. Less debt.
This is my platform.
Hell yeah. We're pleased to announce a 2024 run.
Oh, God. The last thing I want.
The first podcast to be elected president.
The last thing I want is to run for office, because you know they'd pull up all the fucking things that I've said on here and be like,
oh, 100%.
Hi, could you explain the time 7 years ago where you referred to Jacob Black's pencil dick? And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm dropping it. Never mind. It's all right. Bye. Never mind. So it's been a long time, and we have a lot of news to cover. Here's my caveat to the class. We're going to talk about 3 things today. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of other things. If you don't hear the news that you wanted to hear today, shut up. It's coming.
Yeah, hold your horses, okay?
Just fucking hold those horses back, first of all. Train them better. Just take care of them. Those things can kill people, all right?
Scary.
They're something to be feared, all right? We've got a lot of news backed up for the next couple weeks, but otherwise the show would be like 3 hours today and nobody has time for that, all right? So just chill. We're going to go in order of priority. The first thing that we have been talking about for what feels like years was just dropped, and I know why. It's because of the strike. Like, girl, the strike. But it was dropped with no fanfare. Yeah. Nobody emailed us. Nobody called us. Nobody sent any PR to our home.
I found out about it from a tweet that was like 3 days old after it was announced. I'm like, this should have been an Amber Alert to our phones. This should have been like a national service test. It's like, listen, this show that we've been talking about, allegedly, hypothetically,
that we thought was dead.
And we thought was never going to happen. For various reasons.
And they just...
And because never heard about it.
Scheduled to tweet out at 3 a.m.
And they're just like, here, bitch. Go find it. It's like, God, okay.
It was in a fucking treasure hunt 20 hints deep.
Yeah.
After all this time, after us doubting, Hulu's like, oh, so we heard that you wanted that K2 ghost hunting show that's gay. Here you go. Why?
So sick and twisted.
Why does no one tell us when these most important... Why do we have to do the hunting for this? I've never been more excited for anything in my fucking life.
God. It's finally happening.
And when this comes out in like a week, it's so close.
Right. We're here.
She is the producer and narrator.
Wonderful. I love this.
It is called Living for the Dead, and it is unscripted. Per the IMDb page, it says it will, quote, follow 5 amazing queer ghost hunters as they travel the nation to save the living by mending the dead.
Damn.
I thank you for your service.
Like all we ever wanted. It's all I ever wanted.
Thank you.
At one point it says here they go to a clown motel, which is everything to me.
I just know that this was something that she came up with while sitting with Dylan and also pulled from both of our brains. And I just want to say thank you. That Hulu was like, yeah, absolutely, we got you.
I love too in this, they're like, we have a squad here, right? It's not like we have a robust team of gay ghost hunters where it's like, we got the tech girl, right? Or, you know, we got fire, the hottest mediums on the scene.
Water.
We got a researcher.
Air.
We got our resident witch. Everything. This is the squad, okay? This is our this is my Avengers.
It came from the creators of Queer Eye, right? So they've got all the elements.
Right. Yes,
we gotta have 5.
Yeah. Got a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
It's so important. It's so important to me. I had my, because of the strike, I'd had my Hulu pause. I will be unpausing it early to be watching this.
Hell yeah.
And I'm so grateful. So thank you. Also, the last thing I'll say, they have seances, which they've named gayances. I'm done. I'm so done. This is everything I've ever needed. Oh, God. Thank you. Okay, last thing. We shared this on our Twitter, but I'm excited and I need to talk about it again.
I need to scream about it.
I need to talk about it again because I don't even have a fucking Blu-ray player, but I'm going to get this because I want it.
Your dedication to the craft, you know?
I want it because it looks pretty. Why does Collider have so many fucking ads on their website?
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
So, coming on October 17th, so very soon, is a special 15th anniversary collection box set for the Twilight Saga. The important thing to note, the critical thing to note, is the retail price.
Oh my God.
And I know Stephenie Meyer didn't have any say in this.
She's so unserious.
I know, because if she had any choice in this, it would not be this. But the suggested retail price for this 15th anniversary collection box set is $69.99.
Nice.
Nice. It's just very pretty. It looks a lot like the white book covers that they did.
Yeah. It's nice. It's just like a little, got like the little border situation.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the simple kind of like text on the side. So here's a question. When you purchase this, are you gonna just like put up these poster cards in your home as like a fun little fun little decor?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely I am. They're cute. What do you want from me?
No, I love it.
I think it's interesting though because the collection, the art that they're using is from Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the posters that they're showing is from New Moon. So why? You know?
So I'm fucking confused.
And I don't mind because I love New Moon, but also why? You know?
Oh my goodness.
I wish that I know that this is impossible because it's just like they did it all at once. But if I could have chosen, I would have gotten a poster of Charlie. Because can you fucking imagine? I would have put it. I would have gotten one of those like Father's Day frames.
Yes. Oh my God. This would be so funny if they did this like how they do kind of like K-pop launches and stuff with like CDs and stuff where it's like the little photo cards and everyone's like trying to sell them and like trade them. Being like, I want my bias, and it's like, does anyone have a Charlie card? I need it. I'll trade you my Jacob.
Had a fucking sense in their brain, they would do that, but they don't, unfortunately. If they had consulted anyone like us, they would know, but they don't.
Listen.
All right, last thing. This came up on my TikTok. So, interesting. I think it was TikTok's way of saying, oh, you don't know Suki Waterhouse? You don't know this woman? I'm going to try and educate
for you. They're like, oh, you can't pick this woman out of a lineup of blonde women? You're going to find out.
I'm going to try to fucking educate you on Suki Waterhouse. So a week ago at a show, a concert, a series, called All Things Go, Suki Waterhouse covered the song Lover, not the whole album, though that would be interesting. The song Lover by Taylor Swift.
too.
And I thought that was an interesting little connection between the two. Because you know that she didn't, I mean, not like you have to, but you know she didn't have to ask. She's just like, oh, that's my friend Taylor. I'm going to cover
That's my
this.
girl.
Right.
This outfit is also very powerful, too.
It is. It is.
So velvet suit moment.
I will say, this is not the point of the video, why this person made it. So thank you, Danny Vega 13. But I'm really transfixed by the person wearing that bright blue shirt in the bottom left.
Yeah, the security guy.
They're fucking stealing the show from Suki.
Yeah.
We have a backstory and a question today about the Vampire Diaries. Could you read this backstory email by Danny?
Absolutely. This is from Danny, who says, "Hey fam, long time no chat. All caps, y'all." Okay. So I read some of the Vampire Diaries books when I was a teen. I was so into them. Like, got so lost in them, and I started ignoring my chores and responsibilities around the house. My mom got fed up with me not doing my chores. I was grounded from reading them until I got my act together and did my chores. Who gets grounded from reading? Me, apparently. Anyways, my mom and I also loved the show. We never finished it, but made it pretty far. It was like our girls' night show that we would watch together and chat about. This series has such a special place in my heart. Can't wait for you guys to start watching and or reading.
Damn. That's how kids got left behind, you know?
Right.
Just said no reading.
We're supposed to nurture our youth, you know?
Danny's
Instead,
mom
we
said, you
punish
gotta
them.
get back to the factory. No literacy for you.
We have to bring back child labor.
God damn. That is an important context that I need to remember when we're watching this, is that there are books.
Yes.
That this came from.
Right. Which
changes
I
things.
want to tackle right now. I can't even think about it because we have 800 seasons of a television show.
Oh no, I will never touch them. I think it's just important for me to remember that, like, when people start sharing their discourse about the show, that it's going to be like, oh, well, this doesn't hold up because in the books it was XYZ.
Right.
Which I remember coming up when people were watching Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah.
Which is helpful to know.
God, I always forget too that these people wrote 13 of these books.
That's too many. That's
like they wrote 4 over the course of 1991 and 1992. Took a break until 2009 when the show was coming out, and then wrote 5 through 13 during that up until 2014.
It was probably because of Clinton, you know?
Yeah. He always comes back.
It always comes back to him, you know. That probably was, like, super impactful.
Yeah, he just had a lot of things to process, you know?
Right. It's always fucking Billiam. We got a question here that asked us today, when we were talking about episode 1, to make predictions for each character, like, for how the show ends for them.
Oh, God.
And that one is a great question, but it really fucking tripped me up because I was like, to have to lay and make a bet now.
Yeah.
Knowing that I'm going to be wrong hurts me.
Right. It's like, I know I'm going to be wrong.
I know.
So I want to put myself through that.
Am I going to have to, like, record being wrong is painful.
Yeah.
So that is something to keep in mind. Prior to this, what did you know about the Vampire Diaries?
I mean, about, like, what it was about, basically nothing. Like, I feel like most of it was through osmosis because of Tumblr.
Yes, same.
And stuff just, like, slipped through the cracks. And also it was a lot of people being like, Ian Somerhalder is very hot and a bad boy. And I was like, got it.
I did know that as well.
Noted. That is what I ingested from that. And then just Nina Dobrev was there. That is my...
Yeah.
I knew there was, like, a love triangle for sure.
I did know that.
Part of it. I did not know they were brothers, so that was new to me.
I also did not know that.
Which, like, makes more sense because in my head I was like, that's crazy. There are 2 vampires just chilling in this town, and this woman was both in love with them. But no, they are brothers, so that makes a little bit more sense, actually.
So I did know about Ian. I knew like, I knew a vague interpretation that he was, like, a bad boy.
Right.
I knew that he was with Nikki Reed. Because we've talked about that at some point.
Right.
That they have had, like, weird baby stuff.
Yeah.
Going on. The only real thing that I knew, like, back when this was airing is I was aware that the actress who plays Caroline had Lyme. That's, like, full stop the only thing I knew. And I was like, okay, cool. I ride for her.
Right. Yeah, one of us.
One of us.
Representation.
I knew the names Caroline and Klaus. I had seen them, like, paired together. I know nothing else about them.
Yeah.
I just have seen them, like, paired together. I've also seen the ship names of, like, Damon and Elena and Stefan. I thought it was Stefan, but it's Stefan. Which, how did no one in this fucking Virginia town clock him as, like, you're 35 years old?
Right. You were a grown man. Why are you in a high school? You look older than this teacher that you're saying, like, actually, your Confederate history is wrong. Yeah.
So fuck off and go to the library.
So have you tried reading a book?
Have you tried looking
dusting off the archives?
It was so sassy. So I'd seen Stefan and Elena. I'd seen their names go together. I also didn't know they were brothers. In the past, like, 5-6 years, I knew that there was some, like, fuck shit that had happened with Bonnie. I think specifically the actress that played her. I don't know what it is. I just have seen her name come up.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks ago or whatever, when we announced this, I saw a photo where there were 2 Elenas in it. And it's apparently different than what we saw in the pilot, where it's an old Elena named Catherine.
Ye olden Elena.
So now I need to know, is this a fucking Orphan Black situation? Like, how many of there are her? What? How many of them? I'm broken. How many of them exist?
Oh my goodness. I'm confused. I'm scared.
I'm so scared. Did someone clone Elena at some point and she's just, like, existing, and Damon's like, I gotta fucking eliminate your girlfriend. Like, she's a danger to society. Because then I'm like, you know what? He's got a point, actually.
Yeah. Also, I am realizing now that the actress who plays Bonnie, Kat Graham, was in The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan when she was a kid.
Oh, shit.
Which, so, not full circle, because that's not really relevant, but it's a fun fact.
It is a fun fact. Okay, I'm pulling up my notes now.
Yeah.
Because I took a lot of... There was a time when we were planning out the show that I was like, do we need to do 2 episodes per... Like, 2 The Vampire Diaries episodes per episode? Because otherwise this is going to take us, like, 8 years. But then looking at the notes that I took on this pilot, there was no fucking way that we were going to condense this down.
Yeah, our episodes would be like 3 hours long if we did 2 episodes a week. It
would start turning into like a Defunct Land production, and that is so much.
Because so much is happening, you know? It's like a 40-minute episode, but like it is jam-packed with shit. They dumped a lot of things on us.
It was a packed pilot, I will say that.
Right. Yeah.
And what I did not expect in this is that this is such a CW pilot. It, honest to God, felt like especially the first like 10, 15 minutes, felt exactly like a Supernatural episode. There's an episode they pulled content in the first like 10, 15 minutes of mainly the B plot from a season 2 episode of Supernatural and a season 3 episode of Supernatural that I was like, I've seen this show before. Like,
I know this song and dance.
I've watched this show before, and I think that's helping me in this pilot because I love Supernatural, unfortunately. Yeah. So, all right.
Oh my goodness.
How did that voiceover do you? How did the throughout the episode voiceover do you?
It is so I'm serious.
Oh, you didn't
felt
think
like
it was
I was
serious?
back in Midnight Sun. You know what I mean? Like it felt like I was like, what is happening?
Stefan is so Edward coded, and I know I know that the books came out earlier. I get it. But the fact that it starts off with him being like, and this is my story. Like, shut the fuck up.
He's just so... Like, I know it's like 2009, right? And it's also, this is fake. But I feel like in this universe, he is so clockable. Because he's
oh my god.
Incredibly so. And similar in the way, because like the Cullens were also very clockable. But everyone's like, I guess they're just weird and rich. And they just have like really good skincare.
Right.
But this guy is like loner. He is like, knows a lot about history, I guess. And is really awkward. And trying to go to the bathroom. And like, doesn't know where to go. And his new kid energy.
And it was a little bit more plausible in Forks. Because you are in the middle of nowhere, right?
Right.
This is set in Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. This would not happen here. There's no way.
This feels like a very risky place to be a vampire IMO.
Oh, you are this close to the Capitol? To the FBI?
Yeah.
They're going to put you in a lab, Stefan.
Yeah. They're going to run tests on you, Stefan.
I know we find out later in the episode that, like, his family, like, lived here. Like, this is his home, TM. Right? But, like, do better. Be a better criminal vampire.
Right. Come on now.
You are, like, go somewhere way more remote, sir.
Yeah.
It's just, I've seen vampires be better at this. It was frustrating.
Yeah. God.
I found it a little bit distracting that the title cards for their names were made in iMovie where they grew and expanded.
Yeah.
When this is CW
in this
money.
are pretty nuts. Like,
because I made back in 2009 a video just like that in iMovie where I used that transition.
Right.
And I didn't have CW money.
Yeah. Like,
so what's that about?
You could have done a little bit more on this, I think. I think we could have had a little bit more fun with this.
Unfortunately, I have also been 17 before, though, and I did write, Dear Diary, today will be different. So I can't blame Elena.
Listen, Elena's so real. She's just, like, chilling at the gravestone of her recently dead parents. Which they just drop as, like, a bomb, being like, hey. Which is also funny to me, because, I mean, not that their parents are dead, whatever, rip, but, like... I
mean, listen, stay your truth.
But it's really funny to me how everyone in her life is just like, you gotta move on. It's been a year. like her teacher is like, I was gonna excuse you. Like, I was being nice and lenient with you last year because your parents died. You gotta grow up and do some shit in class.
Remember like, when they did that in the Princess Diaries? Where it was like, listen, it's been like 3 months. You need to get your shit together.
Right. It's like, actually, you gotta step it up, okay? And even like, sort of near the end of the episode, it's not like a spoiler, but like when she's talking with her brother, Jeremy, being like, nobody cares in this town that our parents are dead. We just gotta like move on. It's like, whoa, this is nuts.
There are a lot of things in this episode that are silly and wild. I will say, there are 2 things that I will try to give them props when I can. I appreciate that they kind of jumped us into the story. I appreciate not seeing her parents die, but that we just kind of jump in and her aunt is there. It's like very Peter Parker, right?
Like this is the life that we're in. Like, here we go.
Because I appreciated kind of learning throughout the first part of this episode of like, oh, that's her aunt. And her aunt is kind of trying to figure out, how the fuck do I do this, right? Like, do I say, ooh, come back before midnight? Or it's like, oh, have fun. You know, like, she's just trying to get through this. And then also that Elena is being parentified, which sucks. It's not surprising, but it sucks. And also, her and Jeremy are trying to figure out a very unfortunate thing that happens, which is that people believe grief has an expiration date.
Yeah.
And that will, I imagine, hit home for a lot of people of like, your grief doesn't stop after 3 months. You know, like that doesn't stop. It is funny as fuck, though, that she just keeps writing her diary in the cemetery. Because, girl, I made an assumption that it was like a therapist assigned diary.
Sure. Yeah. Right?
Because why would you do this? But the idea, it's such a like, her wearing those like bedazzled butt jeans, which is so 2009, in the cemetery of like, nobody understands me, I'm just gonna keep smiling even though I don't feel like this, is just everything. It's so melodramatic. It's so iconic. I have to stand. I love it. I love it so much. The thing that shocked me that I was not expecting, though, was how many fucking birds were in this pilot. It's a lot of birds. It's a high density. Yeah. I do think it is one bird. We do find out at the end it is just one crow. Like the titular crow. But it comes in many Yeah, it is it is like the movie The Crow. It is just one. But I don't like it. I don't like it, and I was not prepared. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that guy, so... Ooh. I mean, I know now. I'm less scared of it now that I know, but I just wasn't prepared for, like, Bonnie to be trying to, like, make a joke in the car, because it's just two girls vibing on their first day of school, and then we're just having a fucking Hitchcock moment. Like, no thank you. Mm-mm. Let my girl live, okay? She's trying to be a psychic. She's trying to follow her dreams. She's a witch, 100%. She for sure is a witch. For sure. There's no reason why she just suddenly drops in the pilot this lore of like, oh yeah, well my grandma said that we have history back to Salem, Massachusetts. Like, girl, you're a witch. Right. You're like 100% a witch. Yeah. There's no reason why you touched Elena's like bottle later on and saw a crow and a man, and we're like, nah, It must be a little too drunk. It's like, homie, I don't think that happens. No. No. You've had, like, a beer. Like, I think this is different. Right. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't like it. How did you feel about Stefan doing the Edward thing of joining on the first day of school and trying to schmooze the office staff? God, it's so funny. Because he like walks up there, right? Does the same shit, being like, I actually need to, you know, for Edward's case, he's like, I need to switch this class. But for Stefani's like, I have all my records for sure. I definitely got my shots, and I definitely have transcripts in there. Look again. Thank you. And, like, he pulled, like, as he's doing that, he's, like, wearing these, like, glasses, these, like, cool, like, tinted sunglasses, and he just, like, tips them down to look in her eyes to, like, compel her, and it's like, try again. They released this episode right before H1N1 had its, like, prominent epidemic in the U.S., and you want to talk about Stefan saying he doesn't have his immunizations to this woman? Yeah. Stefan. Yikes. Yeah, but you don't know how to forge records, at least? Yeah, I mean, at least with the Cullens, they had, like, a doctor in the family. They could, like, give them some stuff. It's like, this is a high school. Like, you do need that, you can't just even go if it into is a public forged school. You can't even get a document from your poor uncle, who, by the way, my favorite character this episode. He's great. He's really good. He's so tired of their fucking shit. He's like, I can't do this anymore. Okay? I'm so tired. I don't get your whole, your whole deal. I don't know why you chose to do this. We don't really know. You keep coming back and ruining my life. I'm trying to have a fun time in Virginia, just live a happy, normal life. And y'all just come in and stink up the place with your vampire smell. You keep breaking my windows. My HOA's pissed. Yeah, like, you keep fighting at, 3 in the morning outside when people are trying to sleep. I've got complaints. They're gonna make me move. Stop.
Enough.
You look the same age as I do. It's weird. People are asking
You look
questions.
like you both could be in your 30s, so why don't you just get a job and get
a house
if you want to stay here?
If you're like 1,000 years old, I don't know that we know their age, but like, haven't you been doing like money laundering? Don't you have stocks? Get a house.
Surely. Come on.
Go
Go to
away.
the Bahamas. Chill out. Leave me alone.
Yeah, go away. You're allowed. You can be in the sun. So go away.
Yeah, you got your cool big class rings.
Right. You've got your weird fucking Jostens pop ring, so go away. God.
It looks like they're wearing like Super Bowl championship rings. Like they're like
They're the rings that you would get. They're like the fucking Dakota rings you'd get in a cereal box.
Yeah.
They're so embarrassing. Elena clocked him immediately in that cemetery.
Of course, be like, that's a ring.
Something.
That's something. That's like cool, dude. Like,
does it have a cyanide pill in it? What the hell is that?
It's like the most obvious thing ever. It's not subtle in any way.
No, it's not.
God.
He's so embarrassing. He's also, I will say, it is very hard to not draw Midnight Sun parallels because Homie gives off the most blushing bride vibes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I was not
virginal
expecting
nature
that.
here is through the roof. Yeah.
I was absolutely not expecting that, the way that I've seen you motherfuckers talk about this guy in X-rated language over the past decade. I've seen the dirtiest things about this character, and to find out that he just writes in diaries and is like, oh, I just want to love this woman. Right. And that Caroline says that he's a Gemini and his favorite color is blue. Hi, that's Edward. What?
Yeah, what's going on here? Okay, yeah, because y'all got me under the impression this was a filthy show.
You got me under the impression, based on the fanfics I've unfortunately had to scroll past, that this woman, the things that I have seen him do to Elena without my consent, and to find out he can't even be invited into her home.
God, that was so funny of him just being like, like wafting around the door frame, and she's like, "What are you doing?" Like,
you're weird.
He's like,
you're
"Oh,
weird,
do you have somewhere to be?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna see a friend. Can you stop like hanging around outside of my home?" And then when she finally is like, he's like sweating bullets at this point, being like, please. I can't come in unless you say so. And she finally says the magic words. He's like, thank fuck. Oh my god.
He was about to pull
standing
up
out here for hours just waiting for you to ask me.
God. He was like the equivalent of about to pull up like a fucking lawn chair on their front porch because he's been standing there for hours. God damn
Please,
it.
Elena, I can't come in unless you say so.
And so we know from this pilot, he can do compulsion. He has super hearing.
Yes.
He can run super fast because he did the, like, when she showed her leg injury in the cemetery, he was like, got a blast.
He left with a quickness. He was like, it felt it was giving very much Strawberry Shampoo for sure.
Oh my god.
Because he immediately clocks it as like, did you get hurt? And she's like, oh, who, me? And like fully like unveils a huge gash on her leg. It's like, oh, silly me. Haha.
His eyes
like,
are
please
nasty,
take care
by the way.
God, they're like fill up with like blood. There's like the veins in there. It is so gnarly. Like, at least with other vampire media, it's like they're sparkly, they're like gold or whatever. And this is just like they are just pulsating.
God.
With fluids, and it's like I hate that so much.
It's so grody. So I didn't like that. We know that he can like jump really far.
Yeah.
In the fight that he had with Damon.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we know thus far. So far he's just like a human on like super strong thus far.
Yeah.
We would be remiss to not talk about the music in this because that's the only thing I texted you about.
Dude.
It is so fucking important to me.
Are so good. Like, I think surely we must highlight the sort of emo or goth cover of Running Up That Hill. It's so good. And I was like, this actually bangs. Like, and I looked it up and stuff, and apparently it was from this band, Placebo. And I guess when, like, the Stranger Things stuff was going on with Running Up That Hill, they were also like, hey, remember us? We also did this. In the pilot. And we should get streams. I'm not sure how well that fared for them, but the song does slap. I have to admit.
It's so important to me. So they got local to me from Eugene, Oregon. So local to my home state, Matt Kearney, who I've seen in concert. He's amazing. Love him. But more importantly to, like, this time period, MGMT.
Yes.
One Republic.
Yes.
Katy Perry.
God.
Fucking All American Rejects. Connection to Twilight. They got Bat for Lashes.
It's all connected.
And they got The Fray. Are you fucking kidding me?
God.
This
also,
is where the money
Katy Perry
went.
song rules so hard.
It's
like,
so good.
So underrated. But incredibly 2009. So I am thrilled that I was there.
It is, I can tell where their money went, and I'm grateful and I appreciate it, because every time I was like, God damn it. Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes good television is spending your entire budget on the music, and that's what we need more of.
100%. When it's done well, I appreciate it and I'm grateful.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Other moments that you wrote down in your notes that stood out to you?
There were a few, just like a lot of good lines, I feel like, and like speaking, and like a lot of this is aggressively 2009, right? So there's a lot of like cultural references that were very funny to me. I loved when, so there's like this B plot of, what's his name? Jeremy? Is that the brother's name?
Yeah.
Jeremy and, you know, the guy who's hooking up with the girl that she lost, like, he lost his virginity to, and they're dating, and so he's like trying to get in the mix, being like, I actually want to understand you. This guy just wants to like sleep with you. And like one of their first interactions before we even know that is like, the boyfriend is like, oh, nice like nail polish dude, or you like Pete Wentz, like you love Pete Wentz. And then Jeremy claps back, it's like, oh, Pete Wentz? That's a pretty dated TRL reference. You really love Carson Daly? And I was like, this guy's eviscerating this man. I would have lost my damn mind if someone said that to my face. It was incredibly powerful. Also, everything around Jeremy's consumption of weed is very weird in this episode. At one point, Nia Dobrev is like, what is that, stoner talk? Like, the way that people are talking about drugs in this is, again, aggressively 2009, but it's incredibly funny in like a teen TV context.
I also wrote down that quote. You have to remember, right? Like, this was the time that MTV dropped that weed commercial where the woman became a Flat Stanley.
Oh my god, yeah.
So they were in like major propaganda mode. That commercial scared the fuck out of me. And it still does to this day. I mean, I never had an interest in doing drugs because I'm like straight edge. But that was the scariest commercial. Like, that did more than the DARE program ever did.
Yeah, it's very visceral, you know? Like,
I think it told more, though, about Elena and Jeremy's character, that moment when she comes into the men's bathroom and is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, are you doing weed?
Is that a weed?
Is that a weed? And it's like the first day of school, Jeremy. Like, get your shit together.
Jeremy, please, you're in a public space.
Like, you're on public ground. Stop.
Yeah, I know your parents are dead, but can we just...
Like, I know that you need to cope in whatever way you're doing, but can you not smoke weed on a public space? God damn.
Yeah. God. Some
people here are asthmatic, you know?
Yeah.
God damn. Like, take an edible or whatever, you know? His like, it would have been the fucking, like, C plot or whatever. Well, I guess it's still the B plot because it involved Damon. The, like, triangle between Jeremy and Vicky, I think his name was Tyler. When Jeremy's like, hey, Vicky, remember when we hooked up this summer? And she's like, no, I don't. It's school time now.
That never happened. And also, you're Elena's kid brother. Ew, gross.
Ew.
Gross. Who smokes weed.
And just because I was buying weed from you this summer doesn't mean that, like, we're going to talk now.
Right.
So, to find out that Damon was the one who did that, like, grody killing at the beginning. And that he almost killed Vicky, which is, like, rude. She's a retail worker.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Come on. Yeah. Pay some respect.
And that we find out in the middle, like, kind of at the end, we kind of pulled the pieces together, that he almost killed Elena because he was the crow pulling the fog machines. Do you think he brings the fog machines, or is that a power that he has?
I think he's just lugging them. He's got crow luggage, you know? They have, like, little tiny suitcases. And like
it's just like a little clown car. He's got all his materials.
Right. He's got a Mary Poppins bag.
Oh my God.
Little vampire tricks.
He's got to set up all of his fog machines in different areas so the wind doesn't throw it away. That he almost killed her in the cemetery, which would have been so ironic and funny looking back when she was dead, but rude.
Right.
So, that's just a lot of people, Damon. It's a little conspicuous, dude.
Yeah. It's kind of a lot for a short amount of time you've been here, buddy. You should kind of reel it in a little bit.
All because he wasn't even hungry, but he said to his brother, quote, "I promised you an eternity of misery." That's some sibling shit right there.
Yeah, that is like severe brother. Like, oh, I'm just, you know, offering my end of the bargain of making your life miserable for the rest of time.
God.
I don't like you. I don't even want to, like, I just want to make you bad all the time. I want you to have a bad time forever.
He's on his Colin Robinson vibe right there.
Yeah, for sure.
We love an energy vampire.
God.
The question that we had received about making a prediction of where these characters are going to go for, like, how it's going to end for them.
Mm-hmm.
What are you predicting for Elena?
God.
Knowing that we are going to, like, we're going to be wrong, but what do you think?
Right. I mean, some sick, twisted part of me is like, what if this is like a weird polycule situation by the end of it?
I hope so, you know?
Like, I feel like she'll just be like, I can't choose. I love you both. And I love being a vampire. And she's probably going to be a vampire at the end of it, obviously.
It'd be wild if she wasn't, though, you know?
That would be wild. It's like, I'm just going to
tease
actually
it
y'all
for
do your
8
thing.
seasons.
Yeah, she's just like, actually being a teenager is really cool, and I don't want to be that forever, so I'm just going to, like, actually grow up and have a job and, like, do human stuff. But I am still going to, like, have y'all in my back pocket. She just grows really old as a human, and they're just still, like, teens. It'll be very funny.
In my dreams, I would love for her to become a vampire and then realize these two brothers have some, like, weird beef. And then Bonnie is a witch and they go, like, Elena and Bobby, no, Bonnie, not Bobby. Elena and Bonnie go and just, like, vibe together forever. And maybe it's romantic,
wonderful.
Cute,
right.
Or maybe it's just platonic and they're just BFFs just vibing forever.
I would love that.
Because out of this episode right now, those are the two that I like the most.
Yeah.
That's what I hope, and I know that's not going to happen, but it's just what I want.
But we can dream. And if anyone wants to write that fan fiction.
Oh, it's probably been done, I would imagine.
I know,
the notes I took in this, before I'd even seen this question, is I wrote down for Jeremy, I said, Jeremy is not going to survive, but I don't think for magic reasons. He's just not looking good.
Yeah, he's just in a really bad spot. It's probably completely incidental to the whole, like, supernaturalness of it all.
Knowing, like, CW, that's probably, like, too dark for them. That's more of a, like, HBO, kind of how Christopher and The Sopranos went.
Sure.
Because that was kind of what I was imagining when I wrote that. I think if he does end up getting turned, it's more of a, like, I need this power because I don't have control over anything in my life. And then he does get offed because he gets too lost in the sauce. Yeah, I just don't see Jeremy going too far. One, because his storyline is boring. But also, because I don't think that he believes he has a future, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Real talk, and I don't give a flying fuck about Stefan or Damon right now.
Yeah. They're just, like, peacocking right now, and it's like, okay, cool.
I don't care. I care more about your uncle right now, and his taxes, and the insurance he has to pay than I do about the two of you.
Yeah, this is not a prediction, this is a hope and a dream that's not going to come true, but I hope their uncle is just really safe and secure and having a good time by the end of this.
Yeah, honestly, what I want is, like, for him and the aunt, who I think is Jenna, to be in, like, a grief group together. And I don't need anything romantic. I just want them to be, like, good friends who, like, at, like, 3 a.m., just be able to, like, have coffee together and talk.
Yeah.
That's what I want for the two of them. Is that going to happen? Probs not. But I will say that, like, I want Jenna to still be alive, because if Elena loses one more person, I think she's going to go, like, Super Saiyan and blow this fucking town to bits. So, let's not.
Yeah. Let's
not and not do that. Here's the thing. Caroline has a lot of internal misogyny right now that needs to be worked through.
Yes.
That's not her fault, but she needs to be held accountable for it.
Right.
Like, we all, listen, it was 2009, I also needed to do that at that point.
Yes.
I want the best for her, because if she goes vengeful and spiteful, I don't think that that's valuable to Elena either. Yeah. So I do want them to be friends. My worry is, because I saw her name and Klaus's name together, and I think Klaus is bad, that's my worry.
Right.
That I'm scared about that, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't care about, I was going to say I don't care about Matt, but he does like Air Supply, so I'm a little bit interested in that point, but I don't care.
Right, but other than that, there's not really a lot of meat on the bones.
Yeah. Just that we have a lot of music taste in common, that's all.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's all you need.
Yeah, I don't think Vicky's gonna survive, unfortunately.
Yeah,
because she recognized that Damon was a vampire. So that's not great.
Rip girl, probably.
Yeah. So that's not great. And also Carson Daly, aka Tyler, I think his name was. He can get fucked for all I care, to be honest.
Literally eat shit. Fuck off.
He's giving a little bit of he can drop down a ravine because who essays someone in the woods during a party. So
yeah, pretty fucked
die in a fire.
Yeah.
For all I care. Those are the only people that we saw in this pilot. There were a couple people credited as Peeing Guy, which I think is hilarious.
That is very good.
But
fuck yeah.
I don't know that they'll be going far. But if they do, I would love to be wrong, you know?
I hope they keep peeing, you know?
I hope they go piss girl, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they go piss girl.
Next episode is titled The Night of the Comet.
Ooh.
Whatever the fuck that means. You know what I will say?
We get some really bad astrology content in here.
The last thing that I can compare this to, other than like, I'm thinking about like older shows that I watch, not new shit, is like Lost. The last show that I watched that was like serial like this. Mm-hmm. And I miss it. It's hard to do. Like it was, because HBO started autoplaying and I was like, no.
Right. I need to sit in this moment.
Okay? I need to like let it marinate a little bit before next week. But I love it a lot, which is great.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a wild, wacky time.
Wild, great time. We have some amazing patrons that we would love to thank. Starting with our newest patron. Would you like to start us off?
Ooh, welcome to the fold to Sean Salvatore.
The best Salvatore sibling.
Yes.
Use your ring pop for good.
Yes, let's go.
Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh. Thank you to Kati Carp.
Ow. Thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Laura Forty.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Dan Seklos.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Pew, 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 pew.
All right,
I do want to say, too, wait, before we get into fanfiction, just a plug that since we are starting the new season, if you're not on the Patreon, this might be a good time.
If you want that new, if you want
on, because we now will probably be having chats, maybe. So maybe that Patreon just got a bunch of new features. So maybe we'll have some like interactive stuff going on. Who knows? And we also have like a good backlog of bonus shit. And
we got years.
Yes, but especially coming up a very crucial review of Interview with the Vampire on AMC.
Season 1.
Coming this week, or this month. So, if that is interesting to you, if you want a funky name to be shouted out at the end of the podcast, go do it. Join us.
I'm so fucking excited for our episode on Interview with the Vampire. That show...
I'm literally gonna scream.
It's just gonna be an hour of us screaming. But yeah, Patreon did some shit. The logo now is like a pea that's melting in the sun, which is kind of...
Yeah, it looks like the bean, which is fun.
So if you want a Vampire Diaries name and years of bonus content, get on in there.
Get on in there.
All right, fuckers, sit down. I stopped driving. I have a fan fiction for you. Except I don't have a fan fiction for you because none of you shitheads sent me a fan fiction. Here's the thing.
We had ask. You had one thing.
I literally, before summer break, I asked you for I asked you for two things. I asked you to send over backstories, which you did, so thank you. And then I asked you for fan fiction. Here's the thing. When we start something new, I get so scared to go into Archive of Our Own. I get more scared than usual because I don't want to spoil stuff. And I agree. And when I started going into Archive of Our Own, I got so scared today because I saw so many things I didn't know. Right. So please send over fan fiction that's not like spoilery of stuff that's not like season 1. Please and thank you. Because I don't want to spoil stuff. Otherwise that ruins the whole fucking premise of this, of like us not knowing what we're getting into. So today, Cody, I present to you a user review of the pilot from IMDb. Not a critic pilot, or not a critic review, because that's boring and good. This is a user review from September 10th, 2009. An important thing to note for you all. This came out on September 9th, 2009. And I think so. Yeah. This user review is from ShazTac786, and it reads, it's all in like lowercase, by the way.
Amazing.
So I read your comment about how Vampire Diaries ripped off Twilight. I think you should do a bit of research before you say anyone would rip off that piece of crap by Stephenie Meyer. Sorry to burst your bubble, but Stephenie Meyer is the one who rips off everyone trying to be someone. Vampire Diaries was published in September of 1991, whereas Twilight was published in 2005. Though the show may be similar to the crap people call a movie Twilight, the story and its concept came way before Stephenie dreamt that ridiculous scene which caused dumb little girls to go crazy. And with the True Blood series originally known as The Southern Vampire Mysteries, the first one was published in 2001. Did 9/11 hold on. Did 9/11 author's note. Did 9/11 cause the True Blood series too? Okay. All right, keep going. 4 years before Twilight. I just finished watching the first episode, and I have to admit, it does feel like the same torture I went through when watching the Twilight movie. At least the actors can act, which is saying a lot because the main people in Twilight can't. So you're wrong. Smiley face emoticon. Research before you say others are ripoffs, just saying. And 43 out of 60 found this helpful.
What a treasure trove.
Okay, hold on. I've never seen True Blood. Did George Bush cause True Blood?
Don't love where this is going.
I need to do some research before next week.
Yeah, we need to... God, why is... I mean, I get why, but also, like, why is all the vampire media just so 9/11 coded? It's great.
It's terrifying. It's what
horrifying.
it is.
But it does make a little bit of sense.
It does, but also,
But it's horrifying. But also, I hate it.
But also the red string. It's terrifying. All right, friends, continue to send in your backstories and your fan fiction. This is a great time to send this podcast to friends that you're trying to get into this show, because the new season is great for that. So please do that. And if you have a lot of feelings about the Vampire Diaries, guess what? We don't yet. So tell us about them. We'd love to know. Yes,
please. Absolutely.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh!
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.